customers for those products. That's a continuous process any API manufacturer follows.
So that's on the product development side. On the capacity side, that's the overall capacity rejig we have talked about earlier, which should be complete by end of H1 next financial year.
I mean, how do we measure this, sir? I mean, can we say that margins will go up?
No. So, again, repeating the answer to an earlier question by somebody on the call. After this, we won't need any large capex for our general growth, besides the project that we've already announced, like cefiderocol and 7-ACA.
Okay, but how about margins, sir? I mean, can we assume that the margins will go up by 1 to...
No, we are not guiding anything on increasing the margins, so they will remain at 40 plus minus 2% on long-term basis.
Even after the reconfiguration, sir, I mean...
Yes. The reconfiguration is part of that.
Okay, I see, sir. And another thing, sir, is this Dhanuka also has an NPNC business. I mean, if you know for 9 months what contribution came from that business, and then after merger, I mean, what are your thoughts on, scaling up this business? Because this will be a good diversification, probably a better margin business. So maybe if you can talk about that.
Right now, we are not ready to talk about that on this call, Rupesh. Also, unlisted company sharing that data is difficult. So, but right now, the focus of the company will be, stabilizing the new projects that we have talked about. And if you look at the merged entity where the turnover would be upwards of 1,000 crore, that will have a very small contribution in the total sale. Although that CAGR for that would be higher than Orchid's overall CAGR significantly, but still that would not make much of a dent if we change that by 5 or 10% here or there.
Okay. And can you provide an update on our hospital business or hospital vertical? We were looking at it. How is progress there, and can we expect some commercial revenue from this in FY25?
Yeah, FY25 definitely. We hope we can launch it in first quarter. If not, then definitely second quarter of next financial year. And we are devising strategy which should be different from the current players, and we hope to do well there. And hopefully the establishment of network will help us in selling both cefiderocol and cefepime and metazobactam.
Thank you. Mr. Kumar, do you have any more questions? Next question is from the line of, participants are requested to press star and 1 to join the question queue. The next question is from the line of Nihar Shah from Crown Capital. Please go ahead.
Thank you for taking my question again. I missed the export and domestic revenue mix, so can you just state it again for me?
Yeah. So, domestic and export is normally between, domestic is around 15 to 18% for Orchid. And again, these numbers we normally show annual, because quarter on quarter, one shipment here or there could be, 10, 20 crores and can sway the number. So annual basis, the number should be around 18%.
Okay, and are we aiming to increase the domestic market, or this share should be good enough going ahead?
I think at our CAGR, both domestic and export markets should grow healthily.
Okay. And are we taking some steps to optimize our cost in order to increase the margins?
That is a continuous process any API company has to do.
Yeah.
That's absolutely essential for us.
Yeah, and as we talked about in our speech, if you look at all our cost ratios with respect to sales have been improving, and that's where we believe our leverage strategy of leveraging the assets and higher cost base of Orchid comes into play. That's what's going to continuously work on improving the EBITDA margins for the company.
However, I'd just like to add that there are some businesses that we are now trying to develop, for example, the antimicrobial solutions. So we are assembling a team of people who would be working on the strategy. So maybe next 1 or 2 quarters, those expenses would be loaded without any revenue. Similarly, the new sterile block that we have commissioned, which has not yet come to the optimized utilization. So obviously the costs increase and the revenue increases maybe after 2 quarters. So that much of lag on expenses would be there.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to all the participants that you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Sanjay Kumar from iThought PMS. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. First on cefiderocol, what will be the number of patients that we can assume for LMIC? And if I assume 2 weeks of treatment and 3 vials per day, so total 40 vials per patient is a reasonable assumption?
Yeah. So per patient treatment is 60 vials because it's 3 times a day, but 2 grams, so 6 vials. So that means on an average of 7 to 14 days if you take, that's an average of 10 days, so 6 vials per patient. And in terms of LMIC patients, you can count roughly, I think 40 to 50% of the deaths which are happening due to AMR as reported by the Global Burden of Disease data, which is about 5 million people. 50% of those deaths reported are from LMIC, maybe even more. So the current projections that we are discussing with Shionogi and GARDP imagines that initial market out of the total 135 countries supply, the first wave of 14 countries should have roughly 70 to 80% share from India.
70 to 80% share from?
India.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So 5 million, 50% will be 2.5 million is the target market.
In terms of count, you can say that.
Okay. And per vial cost will be roughly, say, $10?
No, it's difficult to put a number to that. Current cost of per vial is roughly $200 in the US market.
Until the process development and costing is not done, it's difficult to comment.
Okay. Okay. And so GARDP lacks experience in marketing. Will that impact our distribution or sales in LMIC, or will they appoint another entity to do that for them?
So there would be partnership model. They would be offering commercial sub-licensing like they've offered to Orchid here in India. If they, let's say the next country is Pakistan, so they will find a partner over there. So what GARDP has is basically access to the molecule. They are the licensee from Shionogi and they will further issue sub-licenses.
GARDP's charter does not talk about selling the product. They are not a for-profit company. So they will never have a sales experience. Their idea is how do they marry the product to the market and facilitate that with easy access so that it's affordable for low and middle income countries. That's their charter. So every country they will have to go and find a partner.
Okay. Okay. And our agreement with them is public, and I was going through, it says up to 25% PBT margins is allowed. Will it be 20%, or can it even be the full 25% PBT margins for us, or is it too early, sir?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so the number is all decided. The costing will be decided once the process development is complete.
Okay. Second, on enmetazobactam, in India you said 7,000 crores market, we might get single-digit market share. And in a media interview you had said cumulative sales globally for the next 10 years could be 2 billion. If you could share the number of patients or how did you arrive at this 2 billion figure, that would be very helpful.
Sorry, on enmetazobactam you talked about?
Yeah.
So actually it's a very difficult exercise. We have used several secondary indicators to try and estimate some numbers. And for example, piperacillin-tazobactam, when it was under patent, was $1 billion product just for the US market. Ceftazidime-avibactam currently is a $500 million product globally. So this 2 billion number is over 10 years cumulative sales. So looking at some of these indicators, the price points, the needs, the requirements, we hired some experts, and we have come up with this estimate.
Okay. And finally, both your products, enmetazobactam, seems to be a narrow spectrum antibiotic which covers only ESBL, extended spectrum beta-lactamases, and cefiderocol also seems to be ineffective against certain strains like New Delhi methyl beta-lactamase and few more also. So is there any threat from other drugs in the pipeline, say sulbactam, darlobactam, or WCK-5222? Are we talking to those innovators as well to manufacture to mitigate the risk from our side?
Oh, you're very well informed, Sanjay. So the thing is, today's drugs have to be narrow spectrum so that we don't sensitize the bacteria to, every drug, and they can remain, the drugs can remain effective. I think all of these drugs must be used complementarily after identification of which is the best drug for the bacteria with which the patient is infected. The bacteria has a defense mechanism with which they mutate and evolve. Like in COVID, you were hearing, right? Omicron strain, this strain, that strain, it continuously evolves. The bacteria do the same thing. And all the organizations who are inventing molecules in the world will need to make sure they are managed responsibly so that there are enough antibiotics available for the patients to be treated slowly.
Okay. And are we talking to any of these innovators as well? Just in case.
No, as of now, no.
Okay, great. All right, that's it from me, sir. Thank you and all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants may press star and one to ask a question. The next follow-up question is from the line of Rupesh Tatia from IntelSense Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, sir. I think I got cut off last time. So one clarification, sir. Hospital business, can we pencil in 5 to 10% revenue for FY25?
5 to 10% of Orchid total? That would be a really large number.
That would be sorry?
Yeah, that would be a large number for first year, but yeah, in a few years' time, yes.
Okay, I see, sir. And then another, sir, is numbers question. Can you tell the capital outlay for 7-ACA and cefiderocol projects?
Yeah, so 7-ACA we have talked about 600 crores of investment, and for 7-ACA project between 10 to 15 million dollars.
So this 600 crore for 7-ACA, does that include working capital as well, or that's just the fixed assets?
No, it includes that's the entire project out here.
So, can you split it between fixed assets and working capital? I think that in one of the previous presentations, you have given number of 400 crore fixed assets, I think.
No, I think there is some mistake. We are right now not in a position to, differentiate those numbers for you. Once the detailed engineering stage is complete, that's where probably we might have more details.
I think number we have already talked about 600, I think.
Yeah, okay, sir. Okay, and then this cefiderocol $15 million investment, what kind of asset turns would that investment have?
Again, it's difficult to say. The problem with cefiderocol is, let me say the advantage. The idea is not to actually sell the molecule. It should only be given in case everything else fails to work. And I just stated the global burden of disease data that what are the possible number of patients. So theoretically, the asset turns could be very high, but unfortunately, right now we don't have the technology, we don't have a target price, we don't have the price elasticity study, so it would be too soon. That is the only reason our license, which is public, talks about PBT margin rather than a cost plus basis, with a typical target price for a CMO.
Okay, so the other way to ask this question is this would be something like once in 10 year kind of investment. Is that good enough assumption?
Sorry?
So this would be, once in a 10 years, once in a decade kind of investment. There would not be any, follow-on investments.
It would depend, like another person asked on the call, what is the total potential of the product who need these medicines? So right now, without having an idea about how much we can reduce the price, it's difficult to say. Current capacity that we are setting up is for 1 million vials, and if the demand goes to 5 million, obviously we might have to set up more. But all of this is too early to say.
To give you the perspective, the objective of GARDP and Shionogi is that the product does not sell, but the reality is antimicrobial resistance is growing every day. So considering that, they have asked us to keep a scope in such a way, we are designing a plant in such a way that with minimal investment, we can increase the capacity 3 times. So while the ideal situation would be that not so much of this product is required, but we do anticipate that there will be a significant growth in demand if we look at 135 countries. But to be honest, to give a number in financial terms would not be correct, because the marketing strategy is not decided by us, it's decided by GARDP and Shionogi, and the pricing strategy is not decided by us. So it would not be correct to give numbers to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for answering my question, and best of luck.
Thank you. As there are no further questions from the participants, I now hand the conference to the management for closing comments.
Thank you. So dear investors, thank you once again for showing confidence in Orchid Pharma. We assure you we will try and work as hard as possible to take this company to the level that it deserves, the infrastructure that Orchid has, the kind of projects that we have taken up. We really hope that this company has some bright future ahead of us in next few years. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of Systematics Institutional Equities, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect your line.